This is my D.C. trip from February 16th, 2019 to February 22nd, 2019. Here's my story. We were getting ready to leave my middle school to go on the bus to take the plane. I was very sad to be leaving my family, but I knew I was going to have a fun trip. Here is a picture that I took with my friends at the San Francisco airport while waiting to board my flight to go to Washington, D.C. This is a picture that I took out of my plane window over Ephraim, Utah. And here is another picture that I took over Manassas, Virginia. Our first stop was the Memorial of Iwo Jima. Here is the statue that they created in memorial of Iwo Jima in the battle that they did. Also part of the Korean War. This is a picture of what everybody liked to call the Hogwarts castle in the background. It may not be the best picture, but right behind us from where I was standing from the Washington Monument was the Lincoln Memorial. Our next stop on the 16th was at the Washington Monument. Here we have the statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the Lincoln Memorial. And surrounding Lincoln was parts of his Gettysburg Address. Here is one of them. The next day on the 17th, we got to go see Mount Vernon. Here is a shot from the backyard or maybe front yard of the house. We couldn't take pictures inside, so this was the best picture that I could get. It is of the Potomac River. While driving down the street, we got to go past the infamous Trump Hotel. Here's another picture that I took of the Washington Monument. It was so tall that almost everywhere you went, if you were outside, you could always see it. Then something fun that we did for dinner on the 17th was we went to a bowling place and we got to eat. It was mostly an Italian place, but here's a picture of that I got a strike on my first go. The next day, on the 18th, we got to go see a short movie about the Civil War. Then we got to see a painting of the Battle of Gettysburg, which lasted from July 1st, 1863 to July 3rd, 1863. It was known as the bloodiest battle of the Civil War. While in Gettysburg, there was a cemetery that was placed around. It had so many gravestones. Also, this was the only gravestone that I could find that was bolded, and uniquely enough that this person died on Pearl Harbor. Here is a picture of one of the cannons that they actually used in the Battle of Gettysburg. My hands were very cold while I was taking this picture, so I had to take my gloves off super quickly. It was around 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Whoa, that was pretty cold. Here is a statue of the man who decided to take high ground for the Union side of the Civil War in the Battle of... Having the high ground made it a very big turning point, and that was a very big deal to have the high ground. Here is another beautiful picture of the sky that I took. With having the high ground, you can spot your enemies way easier, and they could also do for some very great pictures. And at the end of the day, we ended up stopping by the Jefferson Memorial. This is the statue inside the Jefferson Memorial of Thomas Jefferson, who, of course, was the third president of the United States, just after John Adams and George Washington. And similar to the Lincoln Memorial, they also had speeches written around on the walls. Here is a piece of them, and here's another selfie of me in front of the Jefferson Memorial. The next day on the 19th, we got to go to Arlington Cemetery. The gravestone that you see on the bottom is of, I'm pretty sure, either John F. Kennedy's brother or son. The Arlington Cemetery was very, very big and had so many gravestones around it that they had to make it so you couldn't do your unique looking gravestones and you had to do these plain looking small gravestones. Here we have, up the top of the Arlington Cemetery, is the tomb of the unknown soldier. The tomb is guarded by very well-trained soldiers who protect it with their entire life. You can see them holding a gun, and around either every hour or half hour, depending on the day, they switch with around a 15 to 20 minute ceremony. You have to be very quiet, and it is very cool to watch. After watching the change of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier, we went down to see John F. Kennedy and his family's tombstones and graves. Here is a picture of the eternal flame for John F. Kennedy. And here is a picture of one of the graves for John F. Kennedy's daughter, named Daughter. She died while Jackie Kennedy was giving birth to her, so she never really got to live. After going to the Arlington National Cemetery, we went to go see the really cool White House. Across from the White House is a statue of this. I'm not very sure what it was, but it was definitely picture-worthy. And here we have a better picture of the front of the White House. It is truly an amazing sight to see. Here is the picture of me outside the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. We were allowed to take pictures, but it was so sad, somber, and deep that I just didn't feel like I should take a picture of it. We went around to many museums that day, but the best one that I went to was the Museum of American History. Here is a picture of the United States flag from back when before all the states were formed. You could see pieces that are torn off of it because people would grab a piece off of it to keep for themselves. In some of the other Smithsonian museums, you could either not take pictures in, or I didn't feel like I wanted to take pictures because I just wanted to explore it for myself. And after a long day on Tuesday, we ended up going on a cruise over the Potomac for 3 hours. Here's of what I think is a very beautiful picture of the Potomac River with the lights of the city in the back. Next day on Wednesday, everybody woke up to it being snowing and pouring snow outside. Everywhere you would look, you would always see it just covered in white, from cars to streets to buildings. Everything was white. It made it look like it was from a winter movie where everything was perfectly snowed in and everything. But I don't know if they had the problem where half the school's flight didn't get to go home, and I was on that half, so I didn't get to go home until Friday. But it was fun because we got to see stuff that the other classes or other groups didn't get to see. So it was pretty fun. We only visited 2 memorials that day, which is basically all we did. We visited the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial and the MLK Memorial. And while half of the group that went to D.C. with my school were going home and heading over to San Jose, we were stuck watching the Lego Movie 2 in the movie theater while waiting for everything to be sorted out. The next day, on Thursday, we got to go inside Capitol Hill. I took a bunch of pictures of the ceilings, and then when we were going around on the tour, everybody had to be quiet. So the guides gave you a pair of headset that you could hear them with, but I got the wrong pair of headset, and I could hear the lady from a different tour. So I didn't know what was going on from my lady while she was talking, and all I could hear was a different lady talking about a different tour that they were behind where we were. So that was fun. Also, inside the Capitol building, each state got to choose 2 statues that they wanted to put up of somebody who is deceased. California chose Junipero Serra, the one in the picture, and Ronald Reagan. After we went to Capitol Hill, we got to go over to the Library of Congress. We got to go in groups, so our group decided to go over to the baseball part of it, and this is a picture of the scorecard from a Yankees vs. Giants game on September 30th, 1936. It is very heartfelt and deep to me because I loved baseball, and it was so cool to see something that was over around 80 years ago. Well, that's it. That's the end. Thanks for watching. There are so many things that we did that I just can't remember them all, and we didn't do them all in the exact order of the itinerary, so I just forgot about them, I guess. I'm sorry, but maybe you can get to go to DC and experience all the wonderful things and amazing things and keep all the memories that you can keep. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.